Hello and welcome to Scotty Hall on YouTube. Today I want to start this video out by giving two solid thank yous for speaking out on a certain subject and relaying to me a subject I didn't know about at the time, and now I'm informed by it. The first thank you goes out to Boston fan 79B1. Man, I had to say a big thank you to you for speaking out on the issue of the John Cena walkout video and your version of your video, which I really enjoyed. Good stuff, man. Keep it up. I enjoy your channel. Guys, check him out. And the second thank you I want to say is to Cabal the Unbeatable. He told me about Doink the Clown today. I didn't even know he died till I watched Cabal's video. So guys, go check him out. He's got a good channel, positive videos, great guy. Just go check him out. Thank you. Okay, there's going to be a lot of things that I'm going to go over in this video. There's going to be the t.n.a thing with the show and the review of it a little bit, just touching on a couple things just to get my view out there about it. The WWE show, Monday Night Raw, and what happened on it. And basically what I'm taking out of it is the CM Punk and Paul Heyman story and the Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton match, and dissecting it and giving my view on it and everything. And then the next thing is the week in wrestling as I see it right now. Who did better, what organization did better, what shows were better, what I think of the week in wrestling. So sit back and I hope you enjoy. Comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you all for watching. We're going to start the show off talking about t.n.a. They finally got enough balls to actually move out of the Orlando studios and take the show on tour, visiting different cities and going live. And just, it was awesome that they could actually bring it out of the Orlando studio and finally give wrestling fans a chance to see t.n.a. instead of having a universal audience just stay in one specific spot. The show starts out really with the Main Event Mafia, and Sting and Kurt Angle are saying that they're going to announce the new member of the Main Event Mafia, which it ended up being Samoa Joe, so I cut to it real quick. I'm sorry, but what I really wanted to get to was the fact that Bully Ray and the Aces and Eights stopped Chris Sabin as he was walking to the ring, and they warned him that it's in his best interest not to cash in the Destination X title. Well, I mean the X Division title at Destination X, which is not going to be on pay-per-views this year. It's going to be kind of like a Clash of the Champions feel, like in WCW. Once every 3 months, they'll give you a pay-per-view on TV for free. So, but it's still going to be a pay-per-view. He still has a shot to cash it in. But when you get to the first match, it kind of cancels out this warning because Suicide, Kenny King, and Chris Sabin are having a match to see who, I mean, the X Division title can change hands in a three-way, triple threat. And they go on with the match and everything, so it really didn't even matter that Chris Sabin had this warning because Suicide wins the belt. He pins Kenny King. So Chris Sabin wasn't even involved, which when I look at it, I don't really want to see Chris Sabin fight Bully Ray. But at the same time, maybe he could have won. You know, he's one of the originals. So I don't understand why they did this. But Suicide, there was something wrong with him. He was acting different. Hogan comes out to the ring, and he's dragging the real Suicide with him, the guy that's under the mask, and he's limping. So he gets jumped by a guy, and the guy that jumped him is wearing the Suicide outfit right now, and he's got the X Division title. And Hogan tells him if he doesn't take the mask off and show who he is by the end of the night, he's going to strip him of the title. So the guy that's playing Suicide runs off into the crowd, and he just goes around, and Hogan says if he doesn't see him by the end of the night, he's going to strip him of the title. And then the big hurrah comes. He calls him out to the ring at the end of t.n.a, and Suicide starts talking in his voice and everything, and it's all messed up like it's really Suicide. And Bully Ray was come out there and said, "I want to know who you are. I want you to take the mask off. I want to see who you are." And he said, Bully Ray said, "Do you know who I am?" And Suicide said, "Yes, Bully Ray. You walk around here in his weird voice and you take for granted all these fans and everything." Said, "I know who you are." Suicide said to Bully Ray, "I know who you are, but do you know who I am?" And he pulls his mask off, and it's Austin Aries. He said, "I did it last year at Destination X, and I'm going to do it again. I'm taking the world title from you." Austin Aries cashes in his belt to fight Bully Ray at Destination X. I know we've seen it before, but it is awesome how they tied this all in together. It's about wrestling. I went through the whole show, and I had no idea who it was. I haven't been this surprised in probably about 8 to 10 years. So I loved it. I liked it. Austin Aries is going for the title, and it's really, really amazing that maybe once again he can do it. But I think Bully Ray's got the upper hand. So I like the impact. I'll give it probably 7.5 out of 10 stars. So I mean, on my rating, it was a good show. It was pretty decent. So let me know what you think. Comment, like, and subscribe. t.n.a was a good show. I go to a new feature that I have came up with called speed shooting. So this is a quick and very to the point and precise way of getting everything into a 15-minute video. So I have to speed it up a little bit. We're going to talk about the CM Punk and Paul Heyman promo on Raw. Paul Heyman says, "Well, everybody's looking for me." CM Punk was saying to the back announcer, the new girl, whatever her name is, that if she sees Paul Heyman, let him know that I'm looking for him. And Paul Heyman comes out to the ring and says, "Well, since everybody's looking for me, CM Punk's looking for me, I'm out here in the ring, come on out and say what you got to say to me." So CM Punk comes out and he says, "I've known you from the ECW days, and we go back a long way. You've been with me by my side. Nobody was giving me a chance. WWE told me they didn't want me, and all this stuff, and you stayed by my side, Paul Heyman. You were my friend. Friendship comes first." And Paul Heyman said to him, "When I saw you, I saw the star. They were calling me every day in Ohio Valley, telling me to fire you, telling me to get rid of you. And I said, I stayed with you. I stayed with you the whole time, CM Punk. You know why? Because I love you, CM Punk." And he really came out and said it. I think Paul Heyman is really saying, like, he's stuck with him for so long that he's like a father role to CM Punk. CM Punk is why he's there. It's not Brock Lesnar. It's not anything else. He's there for CM Punk. He really, really loves CM Punk. And Punk asked him, said, "Was Brock Lesnar there with your knowing? I'm tired of you lying. I know how you are. This is me. This is me you're talking to. I don't want you to lie to me. I need you to tell me, on your children and everything that you have, did you know that Brock Lesnar was going to attack me, or did you put him up to it?" He said, "Punk, on my children, I swear that I never sent him out to hurt you. I love you. I want to be in your corner. I told him that I will not represent him wrestling you, or I will be in your corner, but I will not represent him against you. That is why I'm backing out of it. That's between me and Brock. I know he's not going to like it, but I will take care of it. But I will not represent him against you, because you are pretty much my main focus." And CM Punk just looks at him for a minute, and then he goes, "I'm sorry I doubted you." And then he hugs him, and it cuts to CM Punk's eyes like he's wondering. You know, he's turning face, so it's going to be whether he dumps Paul Heyman or Paul Heyman ends up stabbing him in the back so they can spin it off with a rivalry with him and Kurt Axel. But tell me what you all think. I believe Paul Heyman for the first time ever. There may be some kind of stab in the back or something because Paul Heyman's sneaky, but somehow I believe he's connected to Punk forever. He said his dream is to walk down by his side at a WrestleMania for the World Championship. And he said, "I will represent you one day, and we will do that." Bryan and Randy Orton on Raw had the opening match which ends in a count out. Well, not a count out, but they had to stop the match because they couldn't separate them, and it's just ridiculous. So they go back to the back, and they said, "No, I don't want this. I don't want it. I want to know who's going to win this match." So they decide to let the WWE Universe vote on it, and they vote for a street fight. So at the end of the Raw, the main event was Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton in a street fight. And I was like, yes, finally, we're going to get to see a match. No way of stopping it, no disqualification, no count out, no nothing. And it's got street fight rules. So it was going to be amazing to see these two work. And I automatically, as everybody should, have it in their head that Randy Orton was going to win because he never hardly loses. And he never hardly nothing happens to him. And I especially didn't see what happened to him at the end of the match. But they go through it, and Daniel Bryan's really putting on a show. And it's a bunch of false finishes. Randy Orton does his usual thing where he's getting into the momentum of turning into the Viper. And you guys know what he does if you watch wrestling. But he's hulking up pretty much, doing the thing, beating on the rings, trying to get him in RKO. Daniel Bryan switches it over to the no lock. And Randy Orton crawls to the kendo stick, and he gets him out, and he hits him in the head with it. And he finally gets him off of him, and he throws him out of the ring. And it's going to be like one of those things where he hits his head again. But luckily he got that kendo stick to break it up. But he goes for the match, and he starts throwing him across the rope, and Daniel Bryan gets out of it, and then he ends up going and running across the ring and drop kicking him like he normally does. So he goes for the no lock, and Randy reverses it and does the backbreaker thing that he did, and Daniel Bryan's laying there. So he gets back up, and Randy Orton's like he's going for the RKO, and then Daniel Bryan grabs him again and flips him over into the no lock, and he's holding him. And Randy Orton's crawling for the kendo stick because he can't get a rope break because there's no street fight. It's street fight rules. They can't break the hold. So he goes for the kendo stick again. He's going to hit him in the face. But Daniel sees that he's going for it, and he actually grabs the kendo stick. And he's got Randy Orton in a no lock, and Randy looks like he's not going to tap. But he does the most amazing thing I've ever seen other than the John Cena I Quit match that Randy Orton had in like 2008 or 2007. I can't really remember the date, but it happened. And the only time other than that I saw this on Raw, and everybody else did that watched it too. Randy Orton tapped out to Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan put the kendo stick on his face and wrenched back and put it against his face, and Randy Orton just couldn't take the pressure, so he taps out, and that was the end of that. And Daniel gets up and goes, yes, yes, yes. And Randy, he's sitting there holding his arm, and he gets up, and what a tremendous show of sportsmanship. Randy Orton shakes his hand and walks away. I think Randy Orton's growing up. Either he's realizing that he's getting up in age and he's ready to pass the torch, and he shakes Daniel Bryan's hand. What a way to put Daniel Bryan over. Not even that he needs to be any more over than he is, but to beat Randy Orton in a tap-out victory, amazing. That doesn't happen every day. Altogether, it was a pretty good week in wrestling. The Raw, I give a 4.5 rating, and the t.n.a, I give a 7.5 rating. The Raw gets a rating of, it would have got a rating of 2.5, but Daniel Bryan's match brought it up in the CM Punk promo. That's all Raw is pretty much anymore, is 3 hours with 2 hours and 10 minutes of promos and 30 minutes of squash matches and 25 minutes of just whatever. I mean, it's not even really relevant. They can make good shows. There's a reason that Vince and everybody is back. There's a reason that all this stuff is happening. I don't care if t.n.a gets a 0.2 rating or a 0.13. They're on a tour now. They're actually going from city to city. So obviously they're doing better. They're wanting to keep somebody quiet. I don't know if it's t.n.a they're scared of or a new talent in ROH, but there's a reason that WWE is coming to the forefront with all these Attitude Era people and all these people just coming back. There's no reason for it happening if nothing is happening. And why can't they put on a good show like they did 2 weeks ago, and then we go from 2 weeks ago to what we got last week, this week, and it's just crap. TNA had a great show, and Bully Ray, and he needs to drop the title. What a way to do it to Austin Aries, but they need to put a young talent in and get rid of this Sting and Hogan. I love Sting to death, but he needs to hang it up. But anyway, they need to push some young talent, and WWE needs to work on wrestling. It's just different with TNA and different with WWE. With TNA, wrestling matters, and it's more about wrestling. They don't cut many promos. They do it in the back like old time, like when you got to a wrestler coming to the ring, the wrestler that was having a feud with him, instead of coming out and interacting with him, they had the little box down in the corner where the guy was talking about the other wrestler. That's the way that's kind of filmed. And then with WWE, you got all this stuff going on and a bunch of promos and just crappy wrestling. I mean, it's not really even wrestling anymore. You can tell everything about WWE is going to happen because you done seen it on SmackDown or you done seen it on Main Event. But with TNA, they keep you guessing because they actually dedicate 20 to 25 minutes to their main event, which is something WWE should do. That's a pretty good match they had between Bryan. But there's no way, shape, or form your main event of your wrestling on USA Network should go 17 minutes into the next show. It should not go 17 minutes into another show. It should end when the time is ended. It shouldn't be a 3-hour and 15-minute show. You should have your time better scheduled, and you should have more things planned out. TNA can end it on time. Why can't WWE? Pretty good week in wrestling. I hope it gets better. That's all I can hope for. I want to thank you all for watching. Remember, we all have a video camera, we all have internet, and we all have an opinion.